everybody. Welcome to This Week in Android. I'm your host, Ashley Esqueda. Well, I have good news and bad news for everybody out there. The good news is that Jeff Ammons, who no longer looks like Wolverine, I'm a little upset.
I know.
He has officially been promoted to the co-host of This Week in Android.
Cool.
Like officially.
Officially, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
And we'll get you a company car. And a company Android. The bad news is that Mark has to leave the show because he's going to go focus on, being the CEO of ThisWeekend.com. So we can't really blame him for that.
I guess.
But we will miss him. So Mark, we will miss you dearly. But we may have him next week because you won't be here. Which
whatever.
You're going to abandon me the second week of being an official co-host. But I'm sure we'll also have him on anytime we need an expert opinion on anything books. And congrats to you, Jeff.
Thank you.
It's just the two of us now.
See what happens. Two of us and our guest.
Well, I mean, the two of us in terms of hosting. It's just like the Grover Washington song.
I guess I got to step it up.
I know. You're going to have to step up your game. But we also have an in-studio guest today, which is exciting for us. Our in-studio guest is Artem Petakov. He's the CTO of WorkSmart Labs. Thank you so much for coming out and being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that it worked out that you could come to the studio.
It's perfect. It really is.
So our app of the week is going to be Cardio Trainer, but before we dive into that, let's rock the news. Well, we'd like to thank our preferred news source, AndroidandMe.com, for providing amazing news stories. Google. This is my favorite news story, so I'm just going to lead off with it. Google snaps up, I want to say it's Matthias, but I know that a lot of people refer to him as Matt for short, Duarte for Android. You might have heard me talk about how elegant I think WebOS is. I think that Palm's WebOS is a really nice user interface. I love their notification system. But Matt Duarte left Palm earlier this week and is now going to be the user experience director for Android. He basically led the charge on designing the really gorgeous interface that WebOS uses. So I'm really excited about what he might bring to Gingerbread this December.
Yeah, I'll have to take your word for it because I never used the Palm OS, but it's exciting that they're thinking about it in terms of, let's get formal, let's get some people who know what they're doing in here and get a quality product. And
I think that some people think that now we're sort of hearing some people say, like, and if you maybe agree or disagree, because I know you do development as well, a lot of people are saying that now that 2.2 is being launched or in the process of being launched, sort of that really fast-paced, 1.5, 1.6, 2.1, 2.2, like we're going to start seeing more of a turn toward user interface and user experience as opposed to the back end of things.
Yeah, I think it needs that, and I think that's the direction in which it's going. That was in conversation with Google people. They need to focus on the basics, right, to really get the mainstream demographic on board, right? Before it was more like a developer in many ways it was to get the developers on board. Right now the developers are on board, a lot of apps out there, right? And now they need to really streamline the phones.
Right. Yeah, no, and I'm really excited about what this might mean for Android in terms of its front-end user experience, because I really do. I love the Palm user interface. It's so just easy to use, and you don't need a task management system because you flick the app away and it's closed. And I just really think that in the hands of Google, somebody who has designed something like Palm's WebOS in the hands of Google is just going to do amazing things.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Fortunately, we have 6 months till Gingerbread, so I think we might see some effects of his hiring in Gingerbread. So I think there's enough time. Lots of phones leaking lately.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like accidentally leaving a phone in a generic location is like now the new hot way to like leak your phone. So Verizon's next Droid came out of the shadows. The Verizon or the Motorola Shadow was found at I guess it was a corporate gym.
Yeah, it was a gym. That's puzzling to me. Like, there's a corporate gym, but you lose your phone and then somebody turns it in. Like, I think it was a guy who works at the gym that, wouldn't he be like an employee or like somehow connected to Verizon? Wouldn't he think he's just going to get fired immediately?
Well, he did.
Yeah, and then possibly like sued or something like that.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I'm not exactly sure why.
And that's even worse than like a coffee shop. Because it's a corporate gym. It's like
It's owned by the company. Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's 24-hour fitness or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Verizon's corporate gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess some enterprising. We've heard it's an intern, but then we've also heard it was a gym employee. Discovered this phone left by some employee. It said it was an unreleased phone. So the first look at it is, what is our specs here? Looks like it's fairly impressive, something for Verizon users to look forward to. Motorola finally dropped the Texas Instruments OMAP processor. They picked up Snapdragon. A 1 gigahertz CPU, 4.3-inch screen, just like the Evo, an 8-megapixel camera, capable of shooting 720p, again, just like the Evo. 16 gigs of internal storage, not like the Evo. The Evo doesn't have any, if I'm correct. It's like very small amount of, I think it's like 350 megabytes or some very small amount of internal storage, and an HDMI out. So the crazy thing about this is that apparently this phone is slated, there's already like user, like get started manuals for this. So they're saying this phone's gonna come out like late next month, which is, well, I mean, I guess with the Incredible, they announced it, 2 weeks before it came out. So
yeah.
We might be looking at that
phone. I'm glad they're
phone.
Announcing things closer to the release dates. It's not like 6 months in advance. Cause
let's just get the phone out.
Exactly.
Let's tell people about it. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, I have heard that this Shadow, or I think they're saying that it might be called the Extreme, which I kind of have some, I might have a little bit of a bone to pick about that. Like, I think that sort of like reminds me of a Mountain Dew commercial.
Yeah,
but
it should be Extreme, but with no E. It's just an X, big X, yeah.
And it's that like hurts my heart a little bit. But no keyboard, no hard keyboard on this one. They're dropping the keyboard. Let me ask you this: in your use of your Droid, how often do you use your hard keyboard? Do you use it a lot?
I use it a lot actually because I write a lot of emails, and so for me it's actually a deal breaker. I'm not actually going to use the Evo that I got.
You can give it to me. I'll use it.
Okay, yeah, we can talk afterwards.
All right, we'll chat. I will pay you in.
Arm wrestle for it.
Oh, well, yeah. Just like we will
there you
fight.
Go.
That'll
right,
be next week's episode of This Week in Android will be me and Jeff Ammons fighting over who gets Artem's Evo.
I actually use my keyboard a lot too, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
I tend to use a physical keyboard. Like the Pre has a physical keyboard, and I use that. And on the Droid, I don't like that keyboard. I like using it on the Droid. I tend to just use the on-screen keyboard. I don't like it as much, but maybe that's just because it feels too fluid. The keyboard, there's no differentiation for me, and I need that on a keyboard.
It's not the best, but it's still better for me than just the on-screen keyboard because my fingers are kind of big. So like I don't know, I can't manage to use the virtual one that quickly.
Well, maybe on a 4.3-inch screen, it'll be easier.
It is a little bit easier. I tried that, especially in landscape mode. Right, you do have those big keys, but I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah. I read something about how they're going to be focusing on the keyboard app.
Oh yeah,
like the keyboard, built-in keyboard, because they acknowledged that it was not the best one. So
I don't know if you've tried Swipe, right?
I haven't actually. I really want to try Swipe.
Nice.
I've heard Swipe is really nice.
Right. You can try it.
And then there's also those on-screen keyboard apps that like predict your next, like what you're typing. So like a Q or a Z is not going to happen as often, and they actually embiggen the keys that you're more likely to type. So, but yeah, so the Droid Shadow, or the Motorola Shadow, I should say, but apparently it's the next in line of the Droid family. It's coming fairly soon. I think we're going to see a huge push for it after the Evo launches next week. Speaking of the Evo,
yes.
3 quick stories. I promise I won't harp on it too much. I know everybody's getting really sick. Oh, Ashley, please stop.
Like, it's almost like yesterday's phone. Almost.
I know. I already feel behind, and it's not even out yet. It's terrible. So the Evo 4G was hacked before it was even released, like its official release. And they're saying now that Froyo, they may find a way to hack Froyo onto this before it officially launches over the air. Out of curiosity, how long do you think it took for them to hack an Evo? Like, how long do you think it took for developers or hackers to hack the Evo?
I think it's a pretty, the platform is still pretty open. So it doesn't take that long because you have so much access to so many things, right? So there's just a ton of stuff to play with, ton of things where you could somehow get root access to the phone, right? So you just need to get it really to crash well and reliably, and then you can hack the phone, right? So it doesn't take as long as on the iPhone because it's a more open platform, right?
Okay.
There's just more capabilities there, so it's harder to shield it.
Well, it only took hours.
Right.
I think they said it took something like 3 hour, 3-person team.
Yeah.
And it
There you
took a few hours after they handed them out at I.O. So congratulations, Evo hackers. I'm sure there are many people who would like to congratulate you and shake you by the hand, shake your hand, shake you by the hand. Like, what am I saying? But they have yet to release the source code for 2.2, so it might be a few weeks before we see an official Froyo hack. But I'm sure the second it's out, some enterprising young individual is going to hack the hell out of that phone.
Cool.
Next Evo story, Fring. Well, let me go back a little bit. So apparently, if you're aware, the Evo comes with Quick, which is their standard video chat program, and it's actually not doing the video conferencing right now. It's still in beta, and so it's not by default activated on the phone yet. Well, we just found out yesterday that they're going to charge $4.99 a month for that service. So another premium that you're going to have to pay for having an Evo. I mean, you've already got the $10 extra for the 4G data or for the data services, and then if you want the hotspot, that's an extra $30. So now you're looking at another $5. So now you're looking at $45. That's almost double what my plan costs.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Fring is another app. First company officially to bring video calling to Android and the Evo. So it's free so far. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Who knows how long that'll last. But there's not a whole lot of apps that support the front-facing cameras. Sprint chose Quick, but it doesn't support video calling quite yet, and Fring is taking advantage of this and stepped up, updated their messaging app to support front-facing cameras, and a lot of people have said it works really well. So hopefully there will be a free option, and I'll ask you this, but hopefully there'll be a free option for those of you who do not wish to shell out $4.99 a month for front-facing video conferencing. But as a developer, and Jeff, the same question is for you, I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter this week about how it's really hard to balance the amount of free in the Android market and the amount of openness with the amount that it's going to take to get developers to come there and make money. And so Artem, what are your thoughts on, is free a better model and you go with advertising, or is it going to be easier to draw better and better developers to Android by allowing them to by basically teaching the market that they have to pay for apps?
I think it's a really good question. I mean, I think as apps evolve and they become more complicated, you'll see more and more paid apps, just like it did in the PC. If you look at the early PC days, actually all the apps pretty much were free, and people were doubting the fact that you could actually charge. Can you charge for PC software? Can you charge for, right? People actually thought that hardware was the only valuable thing. And as it evolves, because you'll have bigger companies that need to make money, and these things will have large budgets. I mean, you look at Hollywood, and it's the same thing, right? Hollywood started with some guy just shooting a video basically a camera shooting a train, right? Which was a very small budget thing, and now it's $1 million, $100 million per movie.
Right.
Right. So the same thing, the same kind of evolution will happen. So far, our answer has been freemium, right? So you have a free uncrippled app. You try and upsell some premium features, and we actually developed even a whole framework for kind of testing what brings us, we kind of bring out a feature, we see how much are people using it, right? If there's a huge number of people using it, we'll then take the feature and consider including and bundling it somehow, because we see it increasing our market more, right? And then we can get people to buy some other features, right? So it's going to be, for us, we stay very flexible, right? I mean, we can take a feature, roll it out as a premium one, and then roll it into the main application, right? So it's very important to be flexible on that point. Otherwise, you end up losing customers to competitors, right? Or just people, or completely people not exercising, using an excuse that they can't buy an app like for us, right? It's an exercise app, which is already, it's hard to get people to exercise, right?
Yeah,
and
and
if they
even
say,
harder to get them
oh
to pay
yeah, I
for
still
it,
have to
right.
pay money for this, then, right? So,
then they're just like, oh, forget it, I'm just going to go eat a bag of chips on my couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that's a really interesting answer. I think that you're right. I think that we need to have easier ways and encourage developers to come over and show them that the freemium model is something that can work in terms of, instead of crippling an app and saying, well, you get the first, you get to use it for an hour, or, you get to use it just the basics, or anything like that.
I definitely purchased several apps that I'd used their free product for a while and decided it was a pretty cool app.
Yeah.
I might as well buy the full version.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that we've seen a couple of the Twitter apps, because Twitter finally has their own official app. I think it's interesting that we've seen, for example, I believe it was Seismic gave away their pro version. It's now free. Everything that was available in their pro version is now free. So I'm curious as to how that's going to pan out for them in the future. But yeah, I think the freemium model is, I think you're right in that the freemium model is the way to go, because the operating system's so open that you're giving your user base an option, a choice. So my last piece of Evo news is that it's actually a bad thing. I mean, as if the $4.99 wasn't enough. If you want to use that front-facing camera on your Evo, it actually shoots images in reverse.
Yeah, I read that.
It's a mirror image.
Okay.
It's really strange. And if you go to, I mean, it's on all of the Android sites, but Android Central has a particularly hilarious image of Phil, who runs the site, and he's got this sign up that says, if you're reading this, I'm on an Evo 4G and I'm on AndroidCentral.com, and it's all backwards. So apparently the front-facing camera is shooting in mirror image, which is really bizarre. Like, how did they not catch that?
I don't know how you wouldn't realize that.
How do you not say, well, in the mirror in the background, text in the background is backwards?
It makes sense, because if you're watching yourself through it, like if someone's developing it, they'd probably be just filming themselves, and then if they're watching their movements, they're going to expect it to be a mirror. Like if you move your right hand, you don't expect it to move this way.
That's true.
So maybe it's just a mistake. Maybe they actually built it that way, and then now
I'm wondering if it was done on purpose for self-portraiture, as many people like to call it, the MySpace portrait, where you hold the camera up real high and go, hey, what's up? Yeah, really classy. But I think that, in the MacBook Pro shoots mirror image as well. But for video conferencing, I find that incredibly strange. Like, if we're going to use it for video conferencing, I find that weird. Yeah,
because then if you have any writing or anything like that, it's going to be backwards.
Yeah, then it looks really weird and Da Vinci-like. And nobody's a genius.
I should do that. I wonder if the phone's powerful enough to actually switch.
Yeah, I'm guessing they can flip it.
Yeah.
I would guess that using OpenGL or some kind of hardware acceleration, they can probably flip the image.
Some way, to get into the API and say, if you're using it for video conferencing, then
especially
flip
if you're
the image.
video conferencing, you're sending it across the wire anyways. You can
true,
probably flip it as you're encoding it.
Okay. I wonder how. I'm curious to see how long it takes for somebody to dig that out and make it happen.
That's a challenge.
So, you mentioned something on Twitter this week. About the Dell Streak. And you said, what was it that you said?
Well, first off, when I first read about it, it was an article about how it was a tablet, and it was a 5-inch tablet, and it was sort of like, seriously? Like, you're not a tablet unless you're 7 inches or larger, I'm pretty sure. And then I found out the next day that it's actually a phone. So it's incredibly large phone.
A giant phone.
Yeah.
5 inches.
So this the Dell Streak, there was a lot of speculation about this for anybody who isn't aware of what this thing is. Like Jeff said, it's a 5-inch Android phone. It's a handset, which 5 inches just seem. I think 4.3 is
early '90s cell phones. Those were pretty big too.
We're getting back to the Zach Morris, the Zach Morris model, where it's going to be like this 12 inches.
Easy to find in your purse,
phone.
right?
You
put it in a purse,
fits right in there.
Yeah, and you can find it easily.
It blows my mind they made it that big. I mean, okay, fine, that's okay. Yeah, it was the Mini 5, and they changed the name to Streak. And it'll be, they officially announced it. Dell has announced it. It's coming to O2 in the UK in early June, and then the US later this summer, and probably on AT&T. That's what speculation says, coming to AT&T. So nobody will buy it. But we like to bash AT&T service.
I do too.
The announcement is pretty much in line with what Michael Dell had said. Arcos has a 5-inch tablet. It's a tablet. It's. Yeah, but I don't think it's a tablet either. I think that's horrible.
It's kind of BS.
But it's a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, which we're seeing a lot right now. 5-inch WVGA capacitive touchscreen. 5 inches, like for it just seems so huge. 5-megapixel camera with LED flash seems a little behind now that we're seeing all these 8-megapixel cameras and phones. 16 gigabyte internal memory, micro SD support, Wi-Fi, GPS 2.1, Bluetooth 2.1, and launching with Android 1.6. What?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore on that one.
How can anybody, okay, if you are a phone manufacturer and you watch this show, I just want to ask you, and you can email me at ashley@thisweekend.com. You can email me and tell me the answer to this. Why would you launch a phone that does not have the latest version of the software, or even the second latest version? Because right now, Froyo has been announced, but it's not launched yet. So why wouldn't you launch just with 2.1?
It does take time to port the drivers, right? So
yeah, maybe they figured they'd just skip over and.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a big deal right now with the Samsung Behold. Like, I guess they're saying, oh, well, sorry, we're not going to actually. They said at the beginning that they would definitely upgrade it to 2.1, and now they're like, nah, maybe we're considering it. Okay. And the G1 too, they're thinking about it. Poor T-Mobile. But we don't have pricing yet, so we'll see. Hopefully they won't mess it up. I mean, for what they're offering, I don't think it should be that much. I'd say 150 most. When you can get a phone like the Evo for $199, that's going to be tough to price, especially later this summer. If they're launching with 1.6 later this summer, it's going to be hard. So, but this will be our last news story. Just really briefly, if you're using Froyo and you hacked it onto your Nexus 1, it's not the final version. Please refrain from freaking out if your phone crashes. It's not final. Yeah, there's a lot of people upset that they have been pulling ROMs and putting them on their Nexus 1s, and it's not been performing very well. Google wanted to let us know that it is not the final version of Froyo. Hopefully, the over-the-air update will be coming soon. And that's my favorite developer word, soon. I also like when it's ready. I prefer that over soon.
I prefer that personally.
It's ready when it's ready.
Safer.
I really respect like Blizzard Entertainment for pushing games. They're like, it's done when it's done. Like we don't like pushing release dates, so we're sure. Yeah. The very last thing I want to show you guys is Android Tap made this really cool visual for Android traction, like over the life of Android. And I'm going to switch over to this really fantastic. Okay, so if you can see, I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit more. All right, so here's the traction statistics. We're looking at the very first one is the iterations of Android that we've seen, how fast they've come along. It is now first in total web and app US usage via AdMob, second in smartphone sales behind BlackBerry. 1 billion miles navigated. These are all of the stats that Vic gave us during I.O. But it is a really neat visual look at how everything has sort of pulled together for Android. And I think it's really fantastic that it's that sites like Android Tap are making things like these, because I think it's really important for users to see how far it's come. Like, I know it can seem like a lifetime, for example, waiting for 2.1 as opposed to 2.2, but when you really look at it, it's October 2009 to January 2010, so it really is not that long in the lifetime of the device.
It's been really fast.
Yeah, it's been really quick. So, so yeah, like I just sort of like a pat on the back. Like I thought that was really neat to just look at the way that it's sort of evolved over time. And if you want to check that out, you can go to androidtap.com, and it's in their news section. I want to talk about Cardio Trainer, so let's do our interview/app of the week. Well, our app of the week this week is Cardio Trainer, and it's a free Android app that allows you to track and manage your cardio workouts. And with us today in the studio is Artem Petakov, the CTO of WorkSmart Labs, who makes Cardio Trainer. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And again, so when you ask people who love to work out, which they're hard to find.
They are hard to find.
But when you ask the people who do love to work out what their favorite app for Android is, Cardio Trainer comes up a lot. And we took the time to check out Cardio Trainer, and we like it too. And so we thought that we would have you on the show and talk about, even though it's still in beta, it really is one of the premier workout apps on Android. And also my mom is super fanatical about how much she loves your app. So
really?
she's like, when are you going to have Cardio Trainer on?
Well,
I'm like, let me see this thing. But tell us a little bit about Cardio Trainer in the sense of how did Cardio Trainer come about? Like, when did you start development on it?
Yeah, I mean, a company is 4 years old. And at some point, when we were getting really started full speed on the company, it took us a while to ramp up to be full-time on it, on the company. And the idea was always for 4 years to be a fitness technology company, right? We need to make fitness and wellness fun and motivating. That was the mission statement. We did for a while build treadmill software, right? Different things to make working out fun, free weight workout software, different things to guide you in the workout. But when Android was just getting traction, or just coming out in September 2008, we decided, okay, let's release on the first day of Android, right? So we built this app in like a month and a half, built the initial very quick version. And at first, it was kind of a publicity thing, right? We wanted to show our investors, oh, okay, we're also up with the latest trends. But it got so much adoption so quickly that we decided, we really should spend some more time on this, right? And that's how, that's how the whole thing got started, right? We are now really focusing on. We have 5 people. 5 engineers working on Cardio Trainer, right? And we're still, right, our vision is still to go beyond it. We're not just a, just a mobile app company. We're doing more, right? We want to integrate with machines and, different sensors, and not just on the phone, right?
Very cool.
But we are very happy that we're with Android, right? It's been a tremendous platform for growing. We have over 700,000 users now, so.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there's still people who like to exercise, even though they are hard to find.
They're out there.
Yeah, we're trying to get more people like that. That's actually our core mission, right? Not just to target the people who are already exercising, but to say, oh, okay, you also can exercise, or to take a little bit more, right? A lot of people just need a small nudge to start exercising.
Yeah. Well, and I think that a part of that small nudge is, I read a blog about a guy who lost a bunch of weight over the course of a year. And one of the things that he said was really important to his weight loss journey, I guess, was that he posted his workouts every day on Facebook. Yeah. And that's something that Cardio Trainer has the option to do. That's right. And I feel like it's so self-motivating to post that every day and see your progress and have other people hold you accountable in your social media. Yeah. And I really like that Cardio Trainer is sort of integrating social media into your workouts to sort of motivate you more as like, ooh, I can't let my friends down now, like they know I've been working out. Why don't you show us a little bit how Cardio Trainer works? We're going to go to our Android cam. And this is Cardio Trainer, and you can go ahead and walk us through it.
Yeah, so all you have to do is just start workout. That's the very simple, basic feature, right? It's switched to running right now, and it doesn't have a GPS signal because we're inside in the studio. But what it's going to do is it's going to auto start. This is giving you time to put it away into some kind of pouch,
3,
right?
2,
and it's going to give you a countdown.
1. Workout started.
Right, and it's going to start your workout, right? And what you see here is it's tracking you, right? It's loading a map, right, of where we are, and it does take some time on the 3G here.
Workout
right,
paused.
and you can pause and resume the workout at will, right? Right now it's put away into your pouch. That's why it's talking to you.
Right.
Right, that's why the talking is here. And we're actually zoomed in too far because it found us very precisely here. As soon as we start moving, it's going to load a map because it's going to zoom out to show your whole route. And I'm going to show you a demo route in a second so you can see what that looks like. And then when you end the workout and you save it, right, this goes directly to, oops, sorry, still, this is always the development version, always running the latest and greatest, right? So it gets uploaded to our website and to Facebook,
okay.
right? And the Facebook, a lot of people ask this. Let me just show you what it looks like. A lot of people ask, what is the, they're concerned about their privacy, right? The Facebook is only the basic stats, right? Basically what you see here, like how long you went running for, did you go running, what kind of activity you did, because you can use this for any workout types, right? You can even use it for yoga, right, where it will just track your time and then you can just specify the intensity, right, and do all of that. So, and you can see here's a run that I ran in Central Park right before I took vacation. So this is what it looks like, right? And this gets uploaded to our website and not to Facebook. You do have the option on Facebook if you want to include a tab on your profile, which is going to list all of your tracks, right? So So that's the basis of the app. And then what we've done is we've added these are the premium features on it. One is weight loss, and another one is racing. So racing is more for sort of the competitive types, which surprisingly not everybody is, right? You can take a track that you've recorded and then put it in, and it's going to guide you through with the voice, right? One of the most important things is the voice integration, right? It's going to guide you through with the voice telling you, oh, how much ahead or behind you are, how many yards behind. And it's very motivating. You can literally, go too far with it, if you get carried away.
Yeah.
Right, but, so you have to be a little bit careful. And this is a feature that costs $2.99, but this is our idea of providing value for people. Basically, we don't cripple the app at all. There is no pro version, as people ask, do I get better tracking? No. Everything is the same, plus some additional features. Weight Loss Trainer is another very popular feature. This is selling actually incredibly well. A lot of people really want to lose weight. Basically, what you do is a lot of other apps are kind of targeted towards obsessive-compulsive people. You need to record every single thing that you eat, which is, so we do a lot of this, right? Exactly. We do a lot of this at the office. We try these different things, and we tried recording everything we're eating. None of us were really able to do it for more than like a week and a half. Yeah. So, and the problem is that as soon as you stop recording stuff, you quit the program and you start eating more, right? You literally believe that you failed, even though you've just forgotten to write something down, right? Which is why we added this. Basically, you just track your exercise with Cardio Trainer, right? You set a goal. You say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks. You set a plan for when you want to exercise. And then what you do is you weigh yourself just once a week. You just hit this update weight button. And it figures out from how much you're exercising and how much your weight is changing, how you're doing on your diet, which is your other component of your work, of losing weight.
Right.
Right. So it solves that problem because you can weigh yourself, after a long weekend or something that probably had, a lot of people lose control on the weekend. It's okay. You can weigh yourself, see how on track you are, right, and then continue, right, with the program. You don't give up at any point, right, which was very important. So yeah, that's those are the basic features. We also have high scores, right, and we're adding a motivational feature, which I can talk about later. Move your bot, right? Let me know if you want me to talk about it.
Yeah,
now,
if you want to. We've got you on Android Cam, so we'll talk about it right now.
So Move Your Bot is a very simple thing we've added. We're looking for different ways to motivate people to exercise, right? And this is very much in beta, right? This is in alpha, I would say, right? Where basically you every time you go for a workout, you charge a little android, which is shown on the screen here. You give him energy, right? And the idea is to become the fittest droid possible amongst your friends, right? So you see your friends here, right? And this is the friends channel, right? These are your different bots that you're competing with, basically. And you can go do a workout, right? Your droid actually goes swimming, right? And you use 5 energy points that you've earned, right? And you pick who you want to go against, right? So I'm going to pick Tudor. And also, if you go exercising right now, walking, any type of activity, you will boost your chances of winning, right? So otherwise, your chances of winning are just based on your fitness, right? So here I am. I'm swimming right now against Tudor, right? My droid is swimming. And I can do many different things. And the idea is you'll be able to build a whole virtual world inside of this thing, right? And make it a little bit, fun and motivating to work out, right? To introduce some kind of a extra kick.
This strikes me as almost a real-world application of the same type of thing that like a Farmville would do, where it's like you get that like in-game reward, and then you get to brag about it with your friend. Like my mom is like a big I have a bunch of friends who are big Farmvillers, and thank God I have it blocked on Facebook. But I've had, but like they'll say like they got like a horse or oh I got this, or I'm level this, or I got a new farm, or whatever it is. And this strikes me as the same thing, and I think that it's very interesting that you are very aware of your demographic. Yeah, no, definitely. We're looking at that, and the idea is to apply those principles, instead of time wasting to something that's actually beneficial for your health.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, and
we should
it's
start
still
giving
very
bonuses to people who actually go grow plants in Farmville. I think that would now go grow plants and you'll get more points.
Exactly, different kind of behavior basically behavior modification, right? To get people to work out more. Because that's what it takes, right? Yeah. So we're still very early stages. I apologize to any people who are using it. It's unfinished. This is why we're experimenting, right? Our main goal is to find kind of a secret recipe to what does it take to really get people to work out, right? And that's going to be a process filled with all kinds of trial and error, and that's why we're engineers, right? That's why it's exciting to work on this product.
Right. So it's been in beta since launch, the launch of Android.
Yep.
How much longer do you expect it to be in beta?
When it's ready.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Touche, sir.
Basically, it's personally, I'm a perfectionist, right? I'm looking for really capturing a lot of different things, really targeting many different demographics. So as soon as that happens, right? I mean, I think it took Gmail like 4 years or something, or 5 years to come out. I think 4 years or something like that to come out of beta, right? And and that's going to probably take us some time, right? It's when we are happy with it, right? Which we are our hardest critics. People, email us sometimes and say, this is the problem, and we always, we love feedback, but we always, and we always listen to it, and we're always very interested in constructive feedback. So if people have more feedback, please email more.
And even saying it's not beta anymore. That's why Gmail did it for so long. Like, they didn't really gain anything by not calling it beta.
Right.
Like, other than fingers pointed at them when it broke.
Right.
When it's beta, it's beta. Of course it broke.
And we talked about that. Remember we were saying like people expect so much more out of a beta now. Like they want polish and they want, because they're like, well, it's open beta, so it should work really well. And instead of it being a bug reporting system, which is what its intent is, people want a finished product that's out before it's officially out.
And we do a lot of quality control. I mean, we had crash logging here since like a year ago before Android actually had it a part of the platform, right? So we focus a lot on crashes because we really hate, especially when people lose data. It's very frustrating. There's nothing as frustrating as like
losing
burning
all
off
of your
sweat,
run workouts,
right? And and then losing a workout, right? So we're really focusing on that.
So a couple of people sent me the same question, which is how exactly, and I'm curious to know this from a development standpoint, how does Cardio Trainer or any other device, but specifically Cardio Trainer, how does it track your steps on a treadmill if it's not using GPS to track how far you've gone?
Yeah, so we built pedometer integration very early on, right? The phone has an accelerometer in it, and you have to basically analyze the data in a smart way, which we did. We trained it in 3 different ways: in the pocket, in your hand, and on a pouch, right? And we trained it with that data. We did a lot of testing, and we basically use it whenever the GPS signal is not available, right? It uses the pedometer first, right? And out of that came out the idea of, okay, we can actually use it on a treadmill, which to me actually is a little bit surprising that people use it on a treadmill, right? Because
my mom does.
Right, because it provides a few extra things, right? It has the music integration, and that's really cool. That's why we actually want to integrate with treadmills more. We're talking to a few treadmill manufacturers about closer integration, right? So it actually reads off the stats and can control the treadmill.
Oh, wow.
Right, those types of things. Right?
I definitely sat around this morning, like shaking my phone earlier, trying to figure out how the pedometer was working.
No, I was when it said start
Mm-hmm.
walking, and I just went like this, and I was like, okay, so there's like some kind of like motion, something with the accelerometer.
I have a question feeding off that. Do you know, are there any other like technical sensors that are going to be built into new phones that you guys are expecting to be able to use? Or is there like maybe improved GPS or something like that that you're looking forward to?
One of the things we've looked at is using actually the proximity sensor, which is built into the Droid and similar phones for doing things like tracking push-ups. Right.
Okay.
So we actually even built a small prototype, right, where you push up against your phone.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a fun one that we didn't expect to be able to use, but the engineers are just. Right, we're all just obsessed with different little hacks that you can put on the phone. So
that's pretty cool.
Not all of these we make. Right, there's so much more going on than what we end up releasing. Right, but those types of things are big. Better GPS would be great. Right, and we actually want more access to the raw GPS signal because we know what the person is doing. Right, whereas it has to kind of figure out on its own, like how to, if you jump really far, well, it's okay maybe in a car or something like that, right? But it's not okay if you're walking.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another thing that we want, right? And we could keep talking with phone manufacturers. We're also talking about just integrating Bluetooth heart rate. Into the phone.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So, and there's programs already out there who do that. We just, we are so focused on our mainstream demographic that don't even have Bluetooth heart rate belts are very rare right now.
Yeah.
Right, nobody has them. So that's why we haven't invested the time. Honestly, we would love to do that. Right, we just need to really focus.
Once it becomes a little more mainstream, it'll be an option.
Exactly.
Very cool. So what do you think makes Cardio Trainer the best workout app on Android?
So I think short term, it's our kind of integration into Android and really understanding the platform, right? Where basically we integrate with a music player, right? We do voice notifications even when it runs in the background, right? Of course, it's a background app, right? We use the sensors to their fullest extent possible, right? So all these things where we tie in with the platform, that's what makes it so powerful. We're actually now working on using the Account Manager API to make it really easy to have a permanent account, right, when using the Android. So it really is helpful to have that platform support, and we work closely with Google a lot, right, to do that. So that's one of the things that helps us. I mean, long term, it's just process and people, right? I mean, we have 5 engineers working on it, right? We have our CEO who is tirelessly working to promote us, right? So that kind of drive is going to make a difference kind of long term, right? And as well as how we work together to kind of decide on the next feature to build, right? That's one of the hardest questions, right? And all the features are so great, right? We'd love to do them all. What's the next thing you build? How much energy do you invest in? And we've worked out a very nice system for how to do that. That's very inclusive of everybody's opinion, and at the same time very very data driven, right? So so continuing to grow that team. I mean, we're adding another engineer soon. So
very nice.
So it's very, very exciting.
It's good to know that you're growing, and I really love that something like this can have so many users. And I think that it's so important because we often become complacent, like with technology. It becomes easier to become complacent. So I'm glad that there are applications out there in terms of things that will get you out and moving. Something that I was going to ask that's sort of in line with what Jeff was mentioning, do you see Cardio Trainer evolving in the future in terms of geotagging, augmented reality, and also auto-updating to social media? I know that right now it's a manual update.
Well, every time you run, right now every time you run, it does get updated, right? If you set it to, if you basically install the Facebook integration.
Okay.
So that does happen. You would have to manually turn on like sharing of the tracks.
Okay.
But yeah, we are. We see a lot of different directions, right? We're basically just getting started, right? There's so many things you can, and we kind of see 3 different areas of improving it, basically making it, more capture all the data that you have, right? Using the different sensors, right? That's very important to build that platform. So we're going to keep improving the GPS quality, all these things where we capture the data, right? Then the second is kind of using that data while you're exercising, right? And after, like training you, right? So you really kind of think about a personal trainer, right? And that's where we're trying to take it, right? A personal trainer will do all those things for you. He'll write down what you're doing, analyze the data carefully, encourage you, right? So, after you basically have the raw data, he will not just give you raw stats. He's going to sit there with you and kind of be encouraging, and maybe, right, and the role of that could be played by your social network, right? So, or some other kinds of motivation. We're working so much with different psychology researchers and with fitness researchers. What kind of things work, right, to modify behavior?
Very
that's
interesting.
Right. So that's really those areas. So yeah, as you see, like with this Move Your Bot, right? It sounds like a silly idea, but it's based on some powerful psychology behind the scenes, right? And it's those are the directions where we'll try and push it. It can integrate, Move Your Bot can certainly integrate augmented reality where you go around in real space collecting different things to put in the game, right? It's very easy to take it in that direction, not necessarily, we need to look at how people see it. So we do a lot of surveying, we do a lot of usability studies, right? Every time we develop something like that, yeah, exactly. But yeah, those types of ideas we will do. Bringing more, I think virtual and real world to me is very interesting, right? Because you can do things in the virtual world that, right? It's a nice abstraction, right? You can have a little Android there that kind of represents you, and it's not exactly you, but it's kind of your proxy into the world. It can be fun. It can be fun without focusing too much on your own body image, which is also important, right?
Right.
You should be very careful with that, right? Not to encourage like anorexia or people pushing themselves to the extremes, right?
To encourage people to go to extremes. Where can we get more information about Cardio Trainer? Where can we get it in the market? What's the cost of it? I mean, like I just want to go over that again with everybody so that they know in a brief, like, little, what's your 60-second pitch for all the viewers out there? Give them all your pitch.
So, it's in the Android market. It's in the health category. You can go into, apps and then health, and you'll be able to download it. And it's very easy. It's free to get started. It's $2.99 for each of the additional 2 modules. We're going to add more modules. There's absolutely we're very happy if people don't buy any of the modules, right? We're very happy to just have them as users of the main app. WorkSmartLabs.com is our website. We are also on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. The Facebook group is very active right now, so Cardio Trainer is our Facebook group. You can just search for that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And actually, you know what? We have one more question. Okay. It's I guess it's a port question. Well, I don't think it has anything to do with our app, but we have a hacker in our Justin TV chat who is asking, is it possible for someone to port Robot Unicorn Attack to an Android phone? And to that I will say, I will find somebody that can do this and bring them on the show, but I don't know if Artem will be able to do it in the next 3 minutes.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Flash anyway.
Maybe.
I think it is.
You might be right.
So they should just wait.
Just wait for air.
It is
It'll be here soon enough.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Digitals.
Adobe's on it.
Yeah, Adobe's on it. Exactly. That's a good answer. Adobe's on it. It will be here soon or when it's ready. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You can find Cardio Trainer WorkSmart Labs on Twitter at WorkSmart Labs or online at WorkSmartLabs.com. Like Artem said, go get it. It's in the market. It's free. You can buy the extra modules for it if you choose to, but if not, you can use the basic app uncrippled, free of charge.
There's no excuse not to exercise.
No excuse not to exercise. You're absolutely right. Well, that's the end of our show. I know, it goes by so quickly.
Yep.
I feel saddened.
It's all right. We get it done, get out of here.
Yeah, well, I like the pace of the show. It's a little bit faster. We're not going an hour and 20 minutes like we used to.
3 hours.
That was
like some other shows.
You're like that I will
just
not
kidding,
name.
Jason.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just kidding. Please let me be the co-host of the show. But I'd like to, first of all, obviously thank Artem Petakov, the CTO of WorkSmart Labs, for coming on the show today. And we're so happy to have you in studio. Thank you. I'm so glad it worked out. And again, you can find WorkSmart Labs on Twitter at WorkSmart Labs. Jeff Ammons, as always.
Yep, at Jeff Ammons. At
Jeff Ammons on Twitter. You can harass this guy. Ask him why he shaved off his chops. Why he's not Wolverine anymore. You're never going to live it down.
Long story. That's all I'm going to say.
And you can find me, Ashley Esqueda, online on Twitter at AndroidAshley. If you love this show and you work for a company that has some money and you want to throw it at us, we totally want it and we'll take it. So you can reach a crowd of ravenous, intelligent Android fans. Shoot us a line at sponsor@thisweekend.com. We have other thisweekend.com shows as well. We have This Week in iPad. We have This Week in Cloud Computing. We have This Week in Venture Capital, Startups, Twitter, and of course,
Streaming award-winning
Kevin Pollak's chat show every Sunday. You can find all of our shows on thisweekend.com. And that, I think, is going to do it for us.
All right.
Next week, it's the Evo. It's time for an Evo. And I'm going to an HTC event out in LA. So just so everyone knows, if you would like to meet me, you might be there. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll plan that far ahead.
We'll see if they let you out. But HTC is holding a public event. You can go to @HTC on Twitter and check out what the info is in LA and New York. And I think there's some other events happening in other major cities. But next Thursday night, June 3rd, there's going to be some HTC events. They're going to be giving away some phones. And I highly suggest you check it out. And I'll be there. And you can come up and harass me about how sad it is that I want an Evo so badly. But as for us, that's been This Week in Android. You guys have a great week.